Hey, welcome back to Global Football Insights with Oliseh and Yose Adibanjo. Today we'll be going behind the high-tech glass of the Amsterdam Arena to the heartbeat of the 1997-1998 double-winning machinery. I'm joined as usual by the general himself, Ondi Oliseh, and the man they call Bullet, Tijani Babangida, two men who conquered the Eredivisie only to face their toughest battles off the pitch in 2024 and in 2025. From the tactical genius of Morten Olsen to the surviving personal tragedy and the modern-day sabotage of the game's dignity. This is a story of brotherhood, grief, and the audacity to stand tall. Gentlemen, let's get straight into it. Welcome, Baba. How you doing?
Yes, I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Yes, our pleasure to have you today.
Yes.
All right, Sunday. Okay, welcome, Sunday. You're familiar with us now.
Okay, me you know verse now. I'm on no verse.
So let me say welcome again. Welcome, Alga.
It's nice to see you, my dear.
Yeah, as always. All right, gentlemen, you are both pioneers of the Amsterdam Arena in the Netherlands. And Baba, you arrived in 1996 as the direct successor to Finidi George, stepping into a massive void under Louis van Gaal. Sunday, you later joined a year after in 1997 when Morten Olsen took the wheel. You both moved from the neighborhood of Seoul of the Mayor to that high-tech spaceship, now that they call the Johan Cruyff Arena. Yeah. Baba, let me start with you. That first season at the Arena under Louis van Gaal wasn't the easiest terms of results. How did you feel trying to find your feet in such a cold, massive structure when the wins weren't coming as usual or as expected, from people?
Well, really, I can say is one of my biggest challenge I had in my professional football because Ajax were champions of Europe and at the same time they are the champions of the world. Finidi was doing so fantastic that many people are thinking, why will Ajax let a lot of players go? Like Finidi was gone, Kanu was gone, and the rest of them, Ed Khadavi, Seedorf, to mention a few. And then I have to come and replace Finidi. And the challenge was big. I think why my situation becomes a little bit easier is because I didn't come from another country to Holland. I was playing already here, so the people in Holland, they already knows me. They know what I do, what I play. I'm like their son because I've been here from 17 years, from 1991. So you find out that I'm 5 years. I played about 5 to 6 times against the Ajax themselves, the supporters. So it's just a switch of a club to the big city of Amsterdam, which at that moment is each and every Dutch player wanted to play for Ajax because of the system, the way they play. Coming into the place we need, I can tell you, my dear, was something else. And like you said, the first year was not so good. And then again, the coach, Van Gaal, come out to say that he's leaving to Barcelona. That is another blow to the team after winning the World Championship. And then we ended up like 4th position. But the good story of that year was Ajax, surprisingly, reaches the semi-final of the Champions League.
Okay. Sunday, you joined in 97, a year after. It's already had a reputation, kind of. And you were seen as the general and an integral part of the historical 97-98 machinery. Inside that dressing room, was it business as usual? Or did the scale of the club and the new arena demand something more intense, almost gladiatorial?
Well, at the time, joining Ajax Amsterdam was like the biggest club in Europe at the time. They were regarded like Manchester City now or Real Madrid. That's what Ajax was back then. It was a club people wanted to go into. And before going to Ajax Amsterdam, I was coming from FC Cologne. It was my first real, absolute top-tier club to play for. So what I did was I was very fortunate. I did a lot of research. And I had Finidi. So I asked Finidi some questions. He didn't even know I was going to Ajax and made me an offer. But I spoke to him and asked him how the club was. And he briefed me everything about the dressing room. And then Baba, who was my teammate at the national team also, he didn't know I was coming to. I asked him some questions too, but Baba, we were already close. So he was already telling me stories about Amsterdam. So I knew a bit. So when I came to the club, the first thing I did was that I knew already the players that were the ones who used to make life difficult for some people or who were people to play well. So I knew how to handle them immediately. And the fact that Baba was already there made life easier. Because and for him too, it made life easier for him too, because he was no longer alone. Now we have 2 Nigerians. Yeah. So we're always like together. And he was my roommate anyway. Before I came to Ajax, Baba was a friend. But when I When I came to Ajax, he became like a brother. So in the dressing room, the question you asked was that the dressing room was totally different. Nothing to do with Cologne. The dressing room was like, you see players like focused, players who want to succeed, players who are always asking themselves questions, players who are never happy with results. And that's the mentality there. So that means we don't need the coach to insult somebody or to shout at somebody if it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
Baba would tell you maybe later, you have a crowd of people that will shout at you if you make a wrong pass sometimes. So it was like that.
So when someone in the squad wasn't meeting the Ajax standard, how was he handled? Was he a quiet correction from senior Dutch players like Danny Blind, or were there strong conversations behind closed doors from you, Sunday?
Well, me, I was new. What I noticed was that when I came into the club, Morten Olsen created a group of 6 players. And they were like the group of players he used to consult. You had Danny Blind, captain. You had Edwin van der Sar. We had Michael Laudrup. We had the twins, Frank and Ronald Debu. And then you had myself. So sometimes he used to call us in the dressing room. I think we're barely 3 weeks into the season and he started doing that. But sometimes the players didn't even know because we held the meetings before the training started. And that's when I realized that top clubs are really, really very organized, Yeah. So if things don't go well in the dressing room, Danny Blind was our captain, but he was a very, very tactical and intelligent person. He doesn't shout too much, but he says what he wants and he says what he thinks. But he has a lot of power. But we had one player who was always like bullying people and shouting a lot, and that was Frank Debu. And he was the one that used to like bully and shout at the young players a lot. And that wasn't really something that went down well with most of the other established foreign players.
Oh, all right. Baba, people forget that you were there before the 97-98 double winning season. When Morten Olsen arrived and Sunday joined, what shifted in the atmosphere that turned a difficult start into a dominant force?
Well, I was happy because Oliseh is there, is my friend already. Like you said, already in the national team, we're together. Yeah. And when he came to Ajax, we are roommates as well. And now I know that I have somebody who is going to always push me on and supported me, which he did. Because I never told Sunday this. It was when Sunday came that I started hitting ball shooting from the outside the 16 because he called it stone. I throw stone.
Make you throw stone.
Yeah,
Baba, throw stone.
So when he tell me to throw stone, I started shooting from far. And if you go into, yes, really. And when you see it, when I shoot, then Sunday would tell me, say, wow, oh boy, you get stone for leg.
You get stone for leg.
Yes, but I never shoot like that, really. When you see all my goals, I don't shoot like that. But Sunday has putting me on like that. And also in the football, sometimes if I get a little injury, if I wanted to rest it, Sunday will come and say, no, come on. So at least he ginger me. And you can see whenever I score, he's the first person to come and dance with me because I always have a dancing. You can see us dancing always in all the goal, in almost all the goal I score. Always come and at the end of the dancing, will jump over and hug him. It was a very good experience because we had a very, very hard season, the season before, even though we played to the semi-final of the Champions League. Then you find out that some players at that time also have gone. And now when Sunday is coming, at least 6 good players came in to the team. 6 or more. That's make me as one of the older players as well because I've been there for a few years. So my confidence come up automatically because I become one of the older players in the team and the new ones come, a new coach, new trainer, new beginning. Everything went so perfect. You cannot even imagine how we enjoy our season.
I can imagine. I'm sure Sunday will be wondering when you were hitting those stones. Will have been like, what were you keeping those stones for? Who were you keeping those stones for?
God bless you, Toyo. See, I ask myself, so you get this thing for
so you have this kind of stone.
So you get this thing for leg.
Yes, I remember we went to Fortuna Sittard to play against Fortuna Sittard. The ball was coming out from the 16, completely out of the 18. I'm just coming from far. Yeah. But because of Sunday was telling me throw stone. If you see the shoot, I make it to the second point. I cannot believe my eyes too.
Wow.
But in also so I say wow, so I can shoot like that. Yeah. And that is the encouragement, which of course I got on that year. And that year I hit anything that I can be able to hit. I hit from any angle and score a lot of goals.
Baba created the record. We had a manager who was David Ent, who was like the manager of the
club
team.
Manager.
He's top club manager of the team. Now, Baba started the season from the first game Baba scored. So he made a bet with Baba and said with Baba, if you can, because I think the record then was a player had scored 6 goals in 6 games in a row. Oh. So when Baba scored the second game, the third game, said to Baba, if you can break this record, I will buy you wine. And Baba said, no, I don't drink wine. Okay, then he said, I'll buy you a crate of Coca-Cola.
Cola.
Baba, you thought I forgot it.
Yeah.
Baba scored. The 5th game, Baba scored.
He
The
scored.
6th game, Baba scored. So there was one game
In
to
a
go.
row.
In a row, 6 games in a row, the first 6 games of the league. So the last game, which was the 7th one, difficult. We're playing, I think, at Herenveen. The whole country came out against us because it was not possible. We were winning every game. We had played 6 games and we had 18 points. And we had scored almost maybe 30 goals already in 6 games. It was just like 15 minutes to go. If you see the stone Baba threw,
My goodness.
it went crazy. And Baba even had forgotten. The next day, the manager came, crate of Coke, take.
Yes. Yes.
No, but those were great memories. Great memories.
But so do you know that that set of Ajax have a record till today is not broken, the best scoring team?
112 goals.
Yes, even Johan Cruyff, his time didn't score such goals.
Wow.
So that our history is still there. They want to break it, but I don't know. You can see even a winger is scoring 18 goals in the season.
Yeah.
The place of the striker.
No, Baba, you were playing like you were playing like you were on drugs that year.
Yes. Then I was on fire.
Yeah.
But how?
That was my best season. And it got to do with Sunday because at least he supported me and pushing me and doing things together and talking and trying to see that I impress not only him, the team and everybody. It was such a wonderful thing that when you have a brother in a team that supported you and you guys did very well.
And push you.
It's magnificent. Yes, magnificent.
Wonderful. Sunday, you've spoken about the Ajax DNA. At the time, was the tactical discipline of Louis van Gaal still lingering in the walls when you arrived, or did Morten Olsen completely wipe the slate clean to build his own troops?
No, it is nothing to do with Van Gaal. Ajax has a style of play. You must come to Ajax and you must play the 4 defenders, 3 midfielders, and 3 strikers. That is the Ajax style of play. If you are as a coach, you must come. All you have to do as a manager, as a coach that is coming in, is that you have to now animate it in your own way. But you can't change the structure of the team.
So there's a set foundation.
Yeah, there's a set foundation. So that one, I met it there and I studied it like a book before I came. Because for me, it was, I must succeed at all costs. So I studied already 4-3-3. But one thing Ajax did was different was that instead of, when we have the ball, instead of playing 4 men behind, one of the defenders from behind will come in the midfield. And that was always supposed to be me. But when I came to the club, an adaptation that Morten Olsen did was that Morten called me into his room, into his office and said, listen, Sunday, I brought you into this club. I need you to do something for me. You are a midfielder, but when we play a team that has a very, very solid striker playing at us, because one from defense was to go in the midfield, I need you now to drop back. So you handle that guy and let Danny Blind go the one going in the middle.
Okay.
So that was his own adaptation to it. And that didn't work like magic because Danny Blind was just always being the one man extra in the midfield. Before the opponents know it, he's just coming from back, he's going. And I'm dropping in a bit back. So I was playing midfield and defense. And defense. But look, we're young then. If you ask me to do that now, hospital I go sleep.
Yeah, because you're having to cover for two different positions.
If you ask me now, I will need drip.
You'll have been run ragged. Yeah, I can imagine. But you know that's what it takes with today's modern football.
Yeah, but it was totally different to you. See, it was different in the sense that during that time it was not like that. We're the only team that are playing it. Now a lot of teams are imitating the Cruyff, the Barcelona thing. A lot of people wants to pass now. But then it was only Ajax that was doing it. And when we came to play any club, you must defend. We played Real Madrid, they defended. We played Barcelona, they defended. Everybody we played, they defended.
Ajax was like Manchester City of that time or Real Madrid of that time.
Yeah.
Because I remember when we went for training camp, we went to Germany to play Jonathan team, if you remember. We played them and outplayed them. Jonathan say, wow, what kind of a football you guys are playing? We went to Bruges in Belgium. We beat them 3 in their pitch. Was that tactic of Ajax? We played not in our half, we played in your half. And everybody is good. Everybody is good with the ball. 1 touch, 2 touch, 1 touch. Ajax is a wonderful. I think that system you see Manchester City are playing because it's all the DNA. Oliseh was just talking now. Johan Cruyff. style of play that Barcelona plays, and then it goes to Manchester City and also Arsenal. They are playing also this kind of the same system.
All right. We cannot talk about Amsterdam without talking about the green, white, green of Nigeria. You both represented the country, and the two of you were the engine room and, of course, the wings of the generation. And now to Sunday, you've always been the voice of the players. Looking at the Super Eagles in the future, do you see the same brotherhood you've had? Do you think it's also possible to have such brotherhood in this particular Super Eagles team now? Or has the influence of European leagues made the boys more like individuals than a unit?
I think to some extent, in this current team, there is some brotherhood to an extent. Okay. And I think the way the Champions League is going this season, there is potential for it to get better. We have two top Nigerian players now doing well at the Champions League. We have Osimhen doing well at the Champions League. Yeah. And we have Ademola Lookman exceptionally well too. So these two top players are doing well. So all we need now is for these two top players to lead the team and for the others to follow, and you will have it. Everybody cannot lead. Yeah. You can't lead because somebody has to follow. But some people lead by the way they play. And while some will lead verbally, and if you're fortunate, you have a captain who will lead verbally and the way he plays. So that makes it even best. So for this, I'm very optimistic. But for the Super Eagles to get better, our players need to be doing well in the Champions League. This is the highest level. Because then you get more publicity and you get more money coming in, you get more transfers, and people are more interested to go into your country because that's the holy grail of football, club football, the Champions League. So I think there's potential for it.
Okay. Baba, you were the bullet for Nigeria just as much as for Ajax. With the current pace of players like Ademola Lookman or even Victor Osimhen, do you think the Nigerian style has evolved, or are we still relying on individual magic than the general, structure?
Well, as you see our game this African Cup.
Yeah, the last one. Yeah.
The last one. I think that Chile has bring a system that is similar to our system. Why did I say similar to our system? Is he took up the position of number 11 and then give Lookman a free hand, just like Daniel Amokachi, to walk around the striker and then you can only put the number 7. So number 11 is free, but Lookman can run there, the striker can run there, and then you have more chance on good attacking. Then you have more midfield also to play with you. I think that was a very good system. The system we do play, and you can see that immediately Nigerians were very surprised. Wow, how come that Nigeria are playing so good like this or like that? But it's because of that system, and the system works well with the boys. And I hope that that atmosphere and sphere of the game, we can keep it up to that way. We have to do with Nigerian way sometimes, because we have players who would like to show up their attitude of play, and not to just hook them and block everywhere. You cannot even see them. I think that will be a very positive move the way we play in the Nation Cup.
That's awesome. Baba, you preceded over Taraba Stars in Nigeria, and of course you saw success there. Why did you choose the boardroom and presidency over the touchline and coaching drills?
Well, you see, when I was playing football about finishing, I was thinking what to do really. I think of coaching. I find out that black coaches have issues in Europe. No matter what you do, they will not give you the opportunity. And I want to be a coach that can coach in my country and then come coach also in Europa so that I can be able to go bigger. Yeah. I find out that that chance will not be given. I didn't tell nobody. I just experienced myself. I look around. I say, no, I'm not going to be this coach. Maybe it's better if I go into managing and try to see what I can do. I just left and come to do my things in Nigeria, where I started with academies, of course, to do an academy for the state government. Then in Sokoto State, where I went in and let the governor telling me that I should try to bring players like myself or players that can be able to present the country, because in their city you don't have even any player who is playing in the national team. I said, okay, we went all around in the villages at that time. We bring players, and that is when we found Usman Mohammed, who was playing. Of course, he was in the Nation Cup also, but he didn't play. You can see it was through that kind of a program that boy comes and become up. And then I went to Taraba, where I started again, fixing things in order how it will be. Yeah. After the second season, from the second league, we come to the first league. And we fight until politically, the system in Nigeria, how it is. At the end of my contract, I have to go, of course, and the team comes down after I left. That is it. So I keep it on that way. But if you see, like managing teams in Nigeria also got to do with, I cannot call it tribalism. I don't know how to say it. But to manage a team in Nigeria, they always bring person in that state. Very, very difficult for them to bring somebody from another state to take a team as the manager or as the chairman of that team. Politically, they put a chairman that most of them don't even understand what football is, but because of politics. And so easy. That is the system. That is the way the system is. So I try to do my own in there. And that is how I got it. So I get the taste of the second league. I get the taste of the first league. So at least I know exactly how the league is there. And of course, I'm also in the national team with Oliseh when he was there. So you can see that I know a lot of things in Nigerian football.
Wow, this is
very true.
Baba, you just opened my eye to something I've not been thinking about. But you're right.
Right.
Every time I look, the clubs are always being managed by the locals, never by someone. And we're one country,
No.
Yeah.
Yes, but you have to. The point is, they have to get the best. Okay. Let me give you an example. There is this team, Barao FC from Kano.
Okay.
It's not a state. It's not a state-owned team, but it's a senator's team. But when they are bringing the general manager after their problem, they went in to bring Dominic Ayofa, which from to come in. They can never bring him to Kano Pillars, or they can never bring him to Bauchi, or he will be jobless. He will never have a job. So that is how it is, because that is private. So you find out that the issue we're having there is, let a team goes in and find the better people that can be able to do the job, and you give them. Not only using, if you see the fight you will have when they take you to another state that you are not from that state.
Yeah.
You can only go there as a coach, but as an administrator or to get a team manager of that team, or to get any kind of a job, it has to be from that state. That is the problem we're having in that country. Even if it happens somewhere, it's only one or two.
But this is horrible for us, because can you imagine that, like you said, in Europe it's closed for our kind. So imagine in Nigeria now, you can't coach, you can't manage in Europe. In your own country, you can't coach, you can't manage. So I don't
in
know.
your country, you cannot do it too. That is it. So
you can understand now why Finidi and Aminike had to come back home.
Yes.
Finidi
I remember one time I was
United.
Yeah.
Yes, one time I was talking with Amunike when he was in Spain after he finished his license, because he's one of my good friends too.
Yes,
and I was telling him, listen, I tell him, listen, don't say in that Europe, come back home, because they will not give you a job. He say, yeah, I will try. I said, no, don't try. Come to Nigeria, come and do your job. And that's, at the end of the day, he did. He lived there, because if you think that you will stay here to be part of them in the football, no, it's not possible. You can only be part of them when you are a football player, because you have a certain quality that they don't have.
Yeah.
You can be able to use it on that, yes, because we the Africans or the people from outside can bring a quality that they don't have. If they believe they know football, maybe they don't know one or two things they are looking for that they don't have the strength for. So they go for the foreign players and bring them in. Otherwise, even the players, they will not come to Europe. I can assure you that.
Baba, you see, when I when I coached in Holland, you can't imagine how the way it was. You come to a club, they didn't even have a training pitch. There was a stadium, but there was no training pitch. So the club, every morning, I had to rent and find pitches for the club to train. That was how bad it was.
I was going to ask, how were they training?
So we had like a pitch not far from the stadium where we rented. So you play. So that's where the team was training. And it was even a synthetic pitch. So you had to use it. So the club was bankrupt. They had nothing. They were finished. But that was the only club, because nobody wanted that club. That was the only club available an African could take. So that was why I looked at it, and everybody, they were all running away from it. I said, okay, I will take it, the challenge. I watched the team play, and I knew that, okay, I could improve their defensive play and then, do some other things. So taking them, they were already about to go relegation, and the Turkish owner, he had invested. So when you take a team from 18th, last, they almost know, and then you bring them to the first division. Normally, they should, and they were almost bankrupt, bring them to the first division. Normally, they should build a statue for you. Instead, I had some locals who were even complaining that, no, the coach of the club has to be a Dutchman. something like that. You were almost extinct. An African comes and saves you. And you're thinking, maybe you should be a Dutchman. So you see, for a colored man, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And I'm happy that this is coming from Baba, because these are things normally I don't want to talk about. But it's we have a long way to go.
You're not going to see, you look around everywhere in the world. You cannot, in Europe, I don't think you can be able to mention 2 or even 1 African.
Baba,
African
when I was coaching, I was the only African. I was the only African
in
the whole of Europe. And then they had to...
In Holland?
No, in the whole of Europe, I was the only African. And I think I was the only African to have coached in the Netherlands. So there was none. There was none like that. And at the time, there was only Ndubisi Egbo that was coaching in one of the East European countries. So I had BBC. They came to visit. CNN came to visit. George Weiler. They all came to do documentaries.
A blood player.
And most of the time when they come, we will win. We're winning because we were beating almost everybody. But for me personally, if I can share this on this platform, that is my greatest success as a coach. The fact that the locals, the players, the captains, and the fans voted me as the best coach in the league. For me, that's the best thing that ever happened as a coach. Because it not only ratified my capabilities, but it also made me feel that it was worth it in spite of anything.
Yeah.
Because imagine all these things and you still come out to be the best as a coach.
Yeah.
It's
they definitely can't take that from you. Yeah, they can't take that from you.
No. Like I said, it's standing close. I put in it. In fact, it's in the... Maybe I will show it to you later. But I really love the title. Every time I look at it, it makes me feel good inside.
Yeah. All right, so let's discuss a coach you both respect. Morten Olsen brought Sunday to the Amsterdam and sharpened Baba's game. You won double and played arguably the most attractive football in Europe. Yet the club let him go in a way that feels cold even today. Do you think Ajax robbed a great man of his legacy, Baba?
Well, it is. My question is, I think, I've been in Holland and I've been in Ajax before even Olsen come. They play great football. With Morten Olsen, when he comes, I saw in the commentary where he was saying, not only him, even some of members of Ajax are talking about him at that time, that he come with a system where he allowed every player to express what he has in him. That is one thing Olsen did. He let everybody to express and go on. He will only tell you your position, what you do, what you play, the system he wants to play, and then it's left for you for the player to go and express. And I feel like a flying bird, really. There's a time if I score, you see me going like a flying bird. I feel so free because the coach has given me the chance to do what I will do. And then I think in Holland, they never see me bringing out myself the way I did during Morten Olsen. It was very important that by December, we're already counting our winning. By December, we're almost champion. By December, half season, we're almost champion. With a great PSV, with one of the best players in PSV at that time till today. They don't have a great team like that. With Philip Cocu, with Jaap Stam, with Zenden, call them. All the top players in Holland were there. But we are clearing almost everybody. And Olsen was having it well. I believe that what I was thinking the club to do was try to see at the end of the day, the season, to see if they can be able to ask him to sharpen the team with more players so that we can be able to fight more in the Champions League. But because of an issue, of course, Oliseh knows about it, about Ronald and Frank de Boer issues. Maybe he didn't handle it very well. And that comes in and brings him down. Not only him, he brings almost the team that have the history of scoring. Almost 5 or 6 players also have an issue, including myself in that team. After becoming champion, it's unbelievable.
I think if they had given him the support the second year, we would have won the Champions League.
That's what I said.
Because we were so solid. He had worked so hard on the team. In my career, he is the best coach I ever had. I had Ancelotti. I had so many other coaches. I had Matthias. I had all of them. But Morten Olsen is the best coach I ever had because of the way he talks to you. And when they sacked him, because I'm still very, very friendly with him now. I even went to visit him in Brussels not too long ago. I could see that it hurt him so bad, Baba. That thing touched him so bad. Because he had
after what you have done.
How can you carry a team that by December we lost only one game?
That's what I said. We're almost champion by December.
Champions. We lost only one game, and that was just before Christmas. We lost just one game. So we were winning every team. The best team that could draw us was Roda Kekrada. We played a draw.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're beating everybody.
Our winning is 7.
We're beating
7-6,
7-0,
5.
5-0, 4-0. And we went to
Yes,
Europe, we're beating
yes.
people in Europe. We beat somebody in Europe 9-1.
Yes.
I think it was,
Yes.
so we were so good and it was going so well. And I was feeling so good because I felt, Champions League is coming.
Yeah.
And like Baba rightfully said, the problem that Frank de Boer brought to the team, because they wanted to leave the team to go to Barcelona.
Yes.
After the first year, they wanted to leave to go to Barcelona. And Morten said, look, I'm trying to win the Champions League, so I'm keeping the best players. So I'm not going to let you go. Maybe after this year. Then they created so much chaos in the team. And that spoiled the second year for us. And there are many players I've spoken to today. They said to me, they will never forgive them for that. Because
Will become something else with that.
I don't want to call names.
They robbed you guys of the Champions League.
Yes.
Yeah. Some of my ex-colleagues then that I've run into that we are still in contact, they keep telling me they will never forgive the two brothers because of the way they spoiled their only golden chance to win Champions League.
That was really sad. But as a coach, as you are yourself now, do you look back at Olsen's tactical preparations and what Tijani rightfully said, talking about tactical freedom being given to them? Do you use those same blueprints in your own philosophy?
Almost everything, in the sense, but modernize it a bit. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Because in the sense that what Morten does, like Baba said, Morten would give you all your roles. He would tell you what you have to do. Now, anything you do more on that, that is your freedom to do. Like, I'll give you an example. There was a game, I don't know if Baba can remember this. There was a game we were playing. We were playing, and our tactic was we would drag the opposition to the left. Baba must stay on the right. Baba doesn't come
by the line.
Baba must stay by the lines. We'll do our passing like Man City does now. We'll do movement. We'll carry the whole team to the left.
In a block.
Baba stays out. When we get the ball from this side, we will touch it, and somebody will give what the judge calls tekelebele. That's the ball that goes like this, like a shot.
Like a sheep.
Like a shot,
like plane.
Like if you see the goal I scored against Spain.
Yeah.
Yes. We will give that kind of a pass. It's like that shot, but a little bit not so hard, but it will go from this left side to the right to Baba.
To that side, yes.
Baba. Now, when we give it to Baba, we must make sure Baba is one-on-one.
Yes.
So when Baba is one-on-one, none of us must go to Baba. Because we as a team, we are not asking Baba, you must dribble that guy and pass him. Yeah. And with Baba's pace and technique, how many people could stop him? It was always something like that. One day we were playing this game. I'm not going to call his name because we're on international screen now. One of my friends and teammates, they changed this ball and he ran to go to meet Baba, trying to support Baba. And then he brought his opposition with him and they crossed the area. Osim went crazy. He went crazy because
if you bring your opposition, then that means the player that is one-on-one with me will get the support.
Will get the support.
Yeah.
So you have to run away and leave him alone.
Morten went crazy. Morten almost changed him. Even the next day in training, when we came, Morten was still going at him. And we won the game, but just the fact that.
Yeah.
Well, those are the kind of
tactical.
Tactical. Those are the kind of things that I incorporated into my own coaching style.
So despite
to play that.
Yeah.
To play that kind of a system, also you need the quality of a players who can be able to do that.
That's true.
Because if you play the system, you don't have the quality of such a player. You are just zero. You will be in one place standing.
Yeah.
You have to look for the quality. That is.
Well, I think that's what some of the Dutch teams are suffering now. They are trying to play that system, but they don't have the quality, the individual quality to do it.
Yes.
With the way you both spoken about Olsen's tactics, it's more like he gives tactical freedom, but at the same time, you also have to be tactically disciplined too.
Yeah, exactly.
You see, like I was talking in this tactical play or system, no matter what you play in football, mostly in Europe, you need players who are maybe with the speedy. Because it's not all team have speedy, maybe in counter-attacking, or maybe in this kind of system
pace,
of play.
They have pace.
Yes, pace. Yes, you have to get the pace. Because whenever you are playing football, you forget about the guy with the pace. But when you want to get them, that is the time that you push the ball. And then you find out that most of the team in Europe, even till tomorrow, they are looking for pace. They will ask me, Papa, can you please find a player with a pace? I will say that is naturally, I cannot train anybody who don't have a pace. You have to be natural to be pace.
All right, so Baba.
If I may add something to yours, sorry. There was a game we were playing at the Olympics. It was the last game of the group. We were playing Brazil. They had the world's best left back, Roberto Carlos. They had the world's best striker, Ronaldo da Lima. They had
The midfielder.
They had the midfielder Conceição. They had international stars. And then the game started. They had Bebeto, thank you. The game started, and they were pressuring us. We were playing. And then Roberto Carlos was attacking us all the time. Yes, running forward. After 3, 4, 5 times, I just shouted to Baba. I said, Baba, leave him.
Stay there. Don't follow him. Don't follow him.
Don't follow him. We'll go wrong for you. Leave him.
Abi.
Yes, that's one thing. That's what makes the team so strong.
That's what made our team so strong. We didn't wait for the coach. Baba, leave him.
Yeah, we did.
Because he was making Baba defend more than this thing. So, okay, Baba stayed there. You see, one time they attacked us. We got the ball back. JJ with the outside of the foot. He just stretched the ball to Baba. Bam! Before Roberto Carlos could recover, Baba was already almost in their goal. Yes. It was the last time Roberto Carlos attacked.
Yes, their coach was shouting Roberto. To the end of that half, the coach came into the line and stopped by the line. If Roberto is passing, he will call him because he will hear him very closely. He didn't sit from the bench.
That means you are really causing them problems.
If you give a space, you are in a problem. If you give a space, you are in a problem. Me, my speed is not only speeding on the line. Before you realize, I'm already 1-to-1 with your keeper because my speeding is inside. So I'm not a winger that always say, of course, I give the pass, but I'm not a winger that finish a season without less than 10 goals. You find out that if you put the ball to the striker sometime, before the striker turn, I already over the striker. I go so fast. So that's why you see, you have to come and block me and don't allow the ball to come or don't allow me to start my running. Then you can be able to be safe.
I think in today's modern football, you would have been a fantastic inside forward. You would have probably scored more than 30 goals in a season.
Yes. I will have been his manager because he will have got so much money.
I always look, I said, if it's this time, because the way the system is, and they will go attacking, and then I will have a chance, they will play the ball to me. I think if I take 1-on-1, it's not coming back.
Yeah, goalkeepers will just be picking stones from their post.
Yeah, when I'm running with the ball, I'm running with the ball. I run, I shoot with the ball, running. I shoot with the ball direct to the keeper. Awesome. So it's something different that I do. Yes, something different that I do.
All right, something different that you did as a former club president. How were you able to balance loyalty that you expect from players with the business side of football that often threatens coaches like Olsen so disposably?
Well, it's very difficult, that question you are giving me, because because with the experience I have, if I'm a club president, I'm not going to dispose Olsen. Like I said, I will try to have 1-on-1 with Olsen, discuss with him what we needed for next season so that we can be able to get better 2 or 3, 4, 5 players to come in and fix into this. There was one time when I was with Sunday, when the season has ended, when he was, I don't know where he find his story, that telling me that it seems like this team, they are going to break this. I said, no, not possible. We just finished. We win everything. We win the cup. We win everything we can win. And we're looking for next season to come. And you're telling me that some players will be leaving. Why? We're expecting more players to come. So if I'm the president of Ajax, I will not let go. Even if I will let go maybe 1 or 2 players, I can assure you at that team of 98, many people can Google it and see, there is no player even sitting on the bench when he comes and don't score or don't enjoy playing or giving something back to the team. We have a very good 20 players in that team that can do more than magic. But before you know anything, half of the teams are gone, and Morten Olsen is gone. Then you find that I have struggled for almost over 5 years after the left of Morten Olsen.
Yeah.
They struggle and struggle. Jan Walter come, he didn't stay for 6 months or whatever.
It was a big mistake.
They take him out. Go Adrians come, he didn't stay for a long time. He was gone. Ronald Koeman came as well. He didn't stay for long. He was gone. So after that, you can see that Ajax were down, were great with Gaal, Champions League. The year Gaal was there, the team come a little bit down. Then Olsen come and he picked the team up. Immediately Ajax become top in the league, in the Europe and everything. And then from that year, like a magic, 2000, everything is coming down. So if I'm a president, I would definitely I would not do the same. I would do different.
Right. That thing hurt me a lot because afterwards, some years after, Ajax called Morten into a meeting, I think. I think they were interested in having him as a sports director.
Yeah.
But the thing had hurt him so much that he politely just told them, look, I prefer to stay with my wife.
The relationship was already strained.
But Morten is a gentleman. He's a gentleman.
Very gentleman.
Very gentle. He's not like us. He's not like our breed. You know,
He's so quiet.
You're not like this, our Nigerian thing that will tell you, no. And the painful part was that when Morten came to me, when the club wanted to buy me, I had offer from AC Milan. And both of them made offers to FC Cologne. But I decided to go to Ajax because of Morten. Because of the way he called me into his house, he broke down what he wanted from me. And then he asked me a direct question. He said, can you do it? I have seen you do it. You are one of the best players in Cologne, but I need you to come and do this. I looked at it. I said, okay. Inter AC Milan were offering a bit more money, but they were not very, very clear about it. They were trying to rebuild also. So I just said, look, I can always go to Italy anytime. And because Morten made it clear to me that he wanted to win the league, he wanted to win the cup, and he wanted to win Champions League. And that's what I needed to have in my career. So it was just like that.
All right, awesome. I've been enjoying the beautiful stories coming from both of you already. And before we move into personal trials, we have to talk about the beautiful game, 97-98 season. That wasn't just about winning. It was about a specific type of footballing art. And you guys have also mentioned how you've won the league, Seth, in December with games to spare, scoring 112 goals in the league. Even yourself personally, Baba, scoring in 7 games straight, not stopping at all. That's something magnificent. Sunday, in that 4-3-3 system under Olsen, you were the number 6, like the anchor man there, right? Yeah. You had to balance the technical elegance of the Dutch players with the raw ones, explosive speed of Baba on the wing. How difficult was it to maintain the defensive shape when your wingers were playing like Olympic sprinters?
We were doing already something then, Toyosi, that the teams are now doing now. We are doing high pressing. Oh. So that means that when we attacked you and we lost the ball, we didn't allow you to play.
Yeah.
But we didn't know then that we're already doing what people will be doing 20 years after.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That was the thing. So I think it made it easier for me in the central midfield. But also at the same time, Toyosi, we were younger. And to tell you the truth, as at that time, I had the strength that I didn't even know where it came from. Because and I'm being serious now, because but what made life easier for me was the fact that I had a brother in the team. I had Baba. And in the team, at one point, our players were no longer calling Baba. They were calling him Wanne, because I never called Baba. So I used to say, Wanne, give me water. Wanne, move now. Wanne, help me out. Things like so. Some were thinking his second name was Wanne. So it was when Baba explained to them.
No, it's my name. Wanne is brother.
When Baba told them that, no, Wanne is not my name, but it means brother.
Yeah.
So it made life really easy for me. I knew Baba as a teammate, as a friend. But when I got to Amsterdam, I found out that Baba is very pure. And as you see Baba has one thing most people don't know that I know. When Baba is telling you something and is laughing, and it looks like it's a joke, no. The man is telling you the truth. He's telling, even if he's angry at you and he's telling you, look, that nonsense you're doing, I don't like it. You would think because Baba is smiling and laughing, you think, no, Baba is telling you that thing. I don't like it, it's hurting me. But I know it, but I'll just tell the person, take it easy, I saw a man that is very pure, and there is something that we don't have much in our trade. That is to rely and have somebody and say, okay, I trust this man. So it's that made life at Ajax really, really interesting. In fact, it's the greatest. That was the club where I played my best football as in club level. And it's the club where I enjoyed the best football.
Beautiful. Baba, when you replaced Finidi in 96, you brought a different kind of pace. And they called you the Bullet. You now had to transition from Van Gaal's rigid structure to Olsen's tactical freedom. Do you feel you had more room to improvise? Just like Sunday said, did you have your best career under Olsen?
I can tell you that 1998 is my best season ever in all the clubs I played. Even though I was having a very nice season with VV Vello, I also had a very nice season with Roda when we become the best ever. They never become second in the history of the club, and we become second. And because Ajax won the Champions League that year, that's why Roda didn't win the league. Yeah. I was doing very well that year. when Morten Olsen came, I already have a lot of experience from Louis van Gaal. So I learned a lot from Louis van Gaal, and with that experience, with the feedback that we had with that season, so I came in 1998 season with Morten Olsen, where I bring everything together, and the freedom, like I told you, the confidence that I have, and the one that I have from Van Gaal, of course, from Ajax, I put them together. That makes me a very strong player. And of course, the trust, because the coach has to trust you. And he trusted and gave me the opportunity and the chance to do it. I believe that, to me, 1998 season in Europe.
Hey, if you're hooked on these incredible stories and want more epic insights, smash that like button. Subscribe now to our podcast channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Share with your friends and join our community on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, X, and Facebook for exclusive updates and more unforgettable tales. Now let's get back to the episode.
One of the best. You can check the record yourself.
If I understand right, what I feel is that Baba got a lot from Van Gaal. First of all, Van Gaal brought him to the club. I think he learned a lot from Van Gaal, and I think it was Morten Olsen's input was complementary to what Van Gaal had already given Baba that made Baba 1998 to be his best season. That's what I feel. Yes. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel that.
No. It's true.
I think both of them helped to make that, because Van Gaal did a lot for Baba, and as a coach, and Morten Olsen did a lot. So he just benefited from both of them.
Staying with you, Sunday, you often talked about mid-sprinting coaching or mid-sprint coaching. Give us a secret from the pitch. What was that specific command you used to shout at Baba to make sure he was tracking back while the roof of the arena was closing above you?
One name, simple.
Yeah,
just one name.
Just one name. It was, and you know the funniest part is that there was a game we played. I will share this. There was a game we played. We had to play Bochum. It was the surprise team from Germany, and they came into Europe, and they had to play us in our stadium. We were beating everybody, like we were saying, and the game had started. We barely played 3 minutes. They got a corner kick. They scored 0-1 in our stadium.
Yes.
Our stadium has 55,000 people, packed full. You know, they scored 1-0. Okay, we've got to play. Next thing we knew, they scored again, corner kick again, 2-0. 0-2 in our stadium. Nobody had been able to do that. Even Barcelona couldn't do it. So then we played, in the history of Ajax, the best 22 minutes ever. In 22 minutes, we scored 1, 2, 3. We just goals were just coming in. Then
3 goals.
Yeah, we scored 3 goals. Then there was a ball that came. We attacked. Baba was going towards the front. So they kicked the ball out. You know, they were coming out. The ball was coming to Baba. I was just coming from the back, and I shouted, "One!" Baba did not even look back. He just take his head. He just prolonged the goal back to me.
Headed back.
Yes. As the ball was coming, it had not hit the floor. I hit it so hard. It was going into the net. The goalkeeper dived. He touched it down. My player just put it in. 4-2. So awesome. It was, when the game was over, my colleagues in the shower were telling me, this your 1 day worked. Eh?
So
one day feels like 50, a magic word.
Yes, 50,000 people in the stadium. And everybody was shouting. I would play the ball, and then they kick it out, and I was just standing in front of the 18, and then I wanted to chase the ball because it's on the air, you know.
Yeah, it's on the air.
And I just had 1 day, I just flipped it out.
Just flipped it back.
To make sure that, I flipped it out, and only say hit it. It's unbelievable. I followed the ball. I could have scored the ball myself.
Frank
scored it. And I still follow the ball. What a game. Only say what a game. I never forget that game. Really.
That game was like voodoo.
They saw it.
We played 22 minutes of our highest level football ever. There was one touch, two touch, one touch, two touch, one touch, two touch. Yes. The Germans went crazy. They were running, went crazy.
It's just so unfortunate that probably I couldn't live to experience such a season, because it's so obvious that historically 97-98 season has to be one of the best for both of you, and also for Ajax, scoring 112 goals in the Eredivisie. The team finished the league campaign with a remarkable goal difference of plus 90. That is a whitewash,
plus 90.
Yeah, and
we considered only 22 goals.
Yes, considering only 22 goals. This remains one of the most domestic, or rather dominant domestic season in the history of the club. and for Ajax Amsterdam. When you look at modern football now in 2026, do you see any team that captures that same double winning fluidity, or has the era of football died? This is to you, Baba, or has the era of that football died, Baba?
Well, I can always bring it to Manchester City because if you see what they are playing, it's almost kind of ours. They have also the hunger in scoring goals. If you see, it's not only Haaland that is scoring.
Yeah.
You find out that all the players from the midfield, even from the defense, they come and score.
Yeah.
I'm always watching Manchester City, I'm always seeing our Ajax era of football. My thinking.
You think so too?
It's the team I love watching the most, Man City, because it shares my philosophy as a coach, and it shares the philosophy of the way I played at Ajax. So, or the way we played at Ajax. So I'm total agreement with Baba. It's like
the trauma can be with me till the end of my life, I believe. If it was last year you called me, it would be very difficult for me to reverse my mind back to the scene. There is no living day that I cannot think of my brother and my son since almost 2 years now.
I have still not recovered. And sometimes I have to put on a show. I have to pretend because I'm still waiting for somebody to wake me up that it was a nightmare. Losing my brother, I think it's the most painful thing I've ever experienced in life.
Baba, May 9th, 2024 changed everything for you. You survived a devastating accident that took Ibrahim from us and left you utterly shattered.
After the visa, we just fly to Holland with my wife and her brother. I can even tell you that they had to pay to the hospital and everything over 200,000 euros.
You have both fought quiet wars recently that has been quite traumatic for both of you, and we're going to talk about survival today. Baba, May 9th, 2024 changed everything for you. You survived a devastating accident that took Ibrahim from us and left you utterly shattered. When something like that happens, football obviously disappears. You then choose to do your recovery in the Netherlands rather than in Nigeria. Please walk us through the physical, mental recovery and how your lovely wife has been your light.
Well, you see, thank God that you are just asking me this after almost getting to 2 years, because if you did ask me of this experience last year, I cannot be able to tell you because it's something that is deep down on you, that you escape death yourself. You have seen death and you escape it. And then I find myself in Holland because I have to, because if you see the impact of what happened with my wife, of course, you need such a treatment in Europe. Even though I have only my knee was dislocated, also I need a surgery. It could have been done in Nigeria, but I choose to come to the Netherlands. Even though I've been a little bit away from Holland, I choose to come, and you can see that everything is getting much better with her right now. And for me, I'm okay. I think that this year, before the end of this year, she's coming back home and we are all coming back to Nigeria.
Baba, if I may ask you one question, because I think our viewers would like to know, how did you come to Europe? Because you didn't just fly in. Your wife needed documentation, you needed money.
Yes.
So how was it? How was it able to work out? How did this come in?
Well, after the accident, there's this, I was just telling you about Road AC. We have this WhatsApp group of this year, the year that we become second in the league.
You mean the group of Roda Football Club ESC? That's the group, the WhatsApp group of the players.
Yes.
Which you are one of? You're one of them.
I'm one of them. That is 1994-95 season. And this group, from the president until the coach, the players, the backroom staff, all will have put us all into this group. So we congratulate ourselves when somebody is having a birthday, if somebody was having maybe anything, we discuss about it. And sometimes in Holland here, they even call themselves to go out to have a dinner or lunch to eat together one time in a year, just to know how everybody is doing. So after the accident, of course, my telephone was away from me for like 2 days. And when I come online, I saw in the group where they be talking, Baba, we want to know what you are doing. Where are you? We heard what happened with you was so bad. We are all our condolences to you. Please, when you get this message, answer us. So when I on the phone, I said, okay. I talked to the group. I said, hey guys, I'm alive. Thank God. I have a knee problem, of course. I need a surgery for the knee. And at the same time, my wife has a very, very bad injury in her face. I think that I need to bring her to Europe, even though I was planning to go to Turkey with her. But then the moment I tell them I want to help her, they tell me, wow, Baba, we can help you on that. Can you come to Holland? Immediately, I tell them, well, okay, I will come to Holland, but how can we do this? About all this issue, they say about the hospitals and everything. We are going to take care of that. Don't worry. We will bring everybody together. You are a very nice person. People loves you in Holland, so don't worry. Now I have to get a visa, which of course is a very difficult. And if you want to take my wife, I want to take her immediately to Europe. The moment she got her consent back, I went to the ambassador. I asked for the visa, and that's the Dutch ambassador. He wasn't on seat that day. I tell them I want to take my wife with her brother to Europe. They tell me, okay, I have to fill some form, and then they tell me I have to wait for like 2 more weeks. I say no, I cannot wait 2 weeks. They tell me, okay, Baba, what you will do? Go back to the ambassador, speak with the ambassador. Since you are a Dutch citizen, you can be able to get a visa. Really, something happened. Unbelievable what happened with me. I went back to the embassy. I spoke with the ambassador, and he granted me the same day. You're not gonna believe this. So the same day he granted me a visa for my wife because I have a Dutch passport and her brother. So without even paying for the visa fee, without paying for anything, from there you can see what the Dutch started doing already. They give me a visa, and within the 2 days we are in Europe, and that was fantastic. What happened that day, really.
No,
And
so
I find myself in Europe.
please, before you continue, because I want this to be very clear. So the accident happened. Your colleagues asked you to come to Europe. They told you they would
Yes.
cater for all the things to do with the medical something, but the visa was
Yes.
difficult. You went to the embassy,
Yes.
and due to the fact that you were a Dutch citizen and the fact that you have played and served in Holland, they gave you the visa immediately
Yes. In one day.
in one day, and then you and your madam and because I met your madam's
And her brother.
I met her brother too, and I met her when I came
Yes.
came to see you when you landed.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So all that was done immediately because of the service you had served, because of what you had served.
Because the service, yes. Yes. So I went there, and that is how they just give me the visa immediately. And the next day, I asked my wife to brought my wife from the hospital in Zaria because the accident happened in Zaria. So she was staying in Shika in Zaria ADU Hospital. So that is it. And after the visa, we just fly to Holland with my wife and her brother. And we are well accepted here. And immediately they started planning on how to pay the expenses, most especially of the hospital, because it's a huge amount of money. You cannot even imagine how these people can do. I can even tell you that they have raised, they had to pay to the hospital and all everything over 200,000 euros, something like this. And
And
they
all
have
this
to come
all
together.
this money was raised by that group of your friends, or did Van Gaal and or because to my best of my knowledge, I know that the other people were involved also.
It was my president of Roda, who was Sardi Kaya, and coach Stevens, that were taking the tag from the players on bringing people on board. And then immediately they contacted Louis Van Gaal. Van Gaal immediately contacted Danny Blin, and then Ajax were in. So VVV are in, Roda are in, Ajax are in, and that's how everything come together. And they make a WhatsApp group within these people and with these clubs. And before you know anything, contributions were coming, and that's how all the bills of my wife all was paid. So it's something that I can be very, very grateful to Dutch people, of course, to my football players here in Holland. That's how you see how players come together and help one of theirs. We are getting the best care one can ever think of. Good hospital, professors. And if you see her now, the way we come, and when you see her now, you're going to be very surprised. She was, I think, after everything in 1 year, you will never know that she had an accident. That's how good they are. So I'm very, very grateful.
Well, if I may attest to that, because the first time when you landed and I came to see I saw your madam.
You saw how impact it is.
The first thing I noticed was that the poor lady was like feeling she was in pain. and she had a bandage on her eyes, and she couldn't use her hand.
Yes.
And then I remember, was it 2 weeks after when I came again to see you, 2-3 weeks after, because she was going through physiotherapy treatment.
Yes, therapy.
Don't worry, my brother, I know they forget anything.
Yes.
She was going through physiotherapy. She had an appointment. There was a time we even wanted to go to have lunch. You said, no, she can't come because.
Yes.
So she was going through it. And when I came to see her again, just 2 weeks after, she was not able to use her hand.
Yes, she cooks. She do everything.
Yeah, she was not using her hand, and she was beginning to cook. And I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. And then the next time I saw her, again, she was walking very quick. I said, which kind of thing made it?
No, it's a magic. It's a magic. But it gives her herself a confidence, of life, that everything is coming back just like magic, the way God wants it, and the way they concentrated on her, and she's fine, much fine. People will see her very soon. Very soon we'll see her, and then we'll go back home.
All right.
Sure.
God is the greatest.
Let me add something. What struck me was that when this happened to you, and I think it was just a few days after, I took the flight and I flew to see you in Abuja.
Yes, just see me and come back. That's what you did. Was wonderful.
Because especially when I heard that your brother Ibrahim died, and then your son, too. Then I flew in. In fact, I just bought the ticket immediately and we flew in. So when I came to see you at Abuja and I saw you then, it was one of the first times I had tears in my eyes in front of you, and I looked at you, Jesus.
Yes, I know. I see.
And it was emotional, I just couldn't take it because I knew when a man loses the brother and in one action. But what really, really impressed me the most was that you had people around you. You had your brothers there. You had your, they were all around you.
Friends,
family,
were there. Everybody is around me. Yes.
And that's one thing I really, really liked, because I remember, I don't know if your brother told you, then I called him on the side. I said, look, we can only leave Baba alone. Because make this man not go commit suicide. No, let him alone. Make sure say, on a day with him, And the good thing, my brother, your brother, your other young brother tell me that, I say, boss, we don't think I'm too safe. We all would look him. We'll not agree. So. Yes. And that is something that it was touching, but to see what the Dutch have done for you now, it's touching.
Yes. In Nigeria, many people have done a lot also, by supporting me. If you see what happened, I think almost all football stakeholders, football clubs, even Kano pillars were passing by. They have to come and see me. Under 17 women under 17 national team. They have to come and see me. NFF, of course, with the president, all the group, FA chairman have come. Shehu Diko, NSC chairman have come.
All right. Sunday, you also know what it feels like to lose somebody dear to you. July 17th last year remains a dark day for you. You lost your brother, Uche Levi Oliseh, and you said it was a painful one, a pain you've never felt before. As the general that you are, you exude this vibe and aura of, you're strong. You're a general. You're a rock. And everyone looks to you for counsel, tries to lean towards you if they need a shoulder to cry on. Where did you, as a general now, where did you go to find your own peace? Whose shoulder did you get to cry on?
And to be honest, I have still not recovered. And sometimes I have to put on a show. I have to pretend, because sometimes I'm still waiting for somebody to wake me up that it was a nightmare, that my brother is not gone. It's when I say it's the kind of pain I've never felt before, is that it's the whole of my body. All of a sudden, I became weak. And sometimes when like us now, we're talking about it now, I'm feeling that weakness coming behind my head again. It's difficult. It's losing my brother. I think it's the most painful thing I've ever experienced in life so far. In fact, I've not come to grips with it to the moment. Yeah. In fact, I still wear black a lot because of it. Every time I'm dressing, I always add black to it. And it's kind of like for Uche, because of all my brothers, of all my siblings, Uche is the one that, and I will not use the word worse, because for me, he's still alive. Uche is the one that I had a lot of. There were things that were close between us, and there were things that we had that were just between, because he was just the one behind me. It's like it's been very, very painful. It's been very difficult. I'm still not over it. I pretend a lot when it comes to that,
Yeah.
So
So for both of you, in this moments of grief, losing Ibrahim, losing Uche, has the brotherhood from the Ajax days been a primary anchor keeping both of you afloat?
Yes, really. That's why you see when this thing happened, just 2 days after, Oliseh just took the plane and just come direct to me. To my own surprise, I just see him. He just come just to see me. You can see that the brotherhood you are talking about. I have shown it that he come all the way to come and see me, and I've seen the tears in his eyes, and I become so helpless at that time, of course. And what is going through me is the trauma can be with me till the end of my life, I believe. I know that time heals a lot. With time, anything can be healed. Maybe with time, but like when you started talking about this, I told you that if it was last year you called me, it would be very difficult for me to reverse my mind back to the scene. But now you can see that time is coming, that I'm already okay with it, but not okay. There's no living day. There's no living day that I cannot think of my brother and my son. I don't see that day since almost 2 years now. It flashes 5 or 6 times in my mind. But that's life. I believe it's destiny, and I take it, and I try to go on with time.
Our tradition forbids an older brother from participating in the burial of the brother. That's the traditional part. That's so I was kind of like I couldn't be part of the funeral for them to put him into the ground. So
I cannot too.
I couldn't.
couldn't.
But what I did was that I kind of like just blocked everybody out. Normally I never speak my private life, but since we can speak about it, I blocked everybody out. Everybody that was involved, I just blocked them out, because the only ones I did was I reached out to the family and everything, and did things. But when it comes, it is still hurting. It is still hurting very bad. And I think, like Baba said, only time will heal it. But there are certain things that time cannot heal, because somehow I'm still asking myself, maybe I could have done more, maybe I could have done less. You always feel somehow, even though sometimes we think we are. But I learned a very big lesson from this. The big lesson is that whether we like it or not, the only thing that we're certain about in life is that we're going to go someday. We're all going to go.
Yes.
So, and sometimes there are things that we take that are important that are really not even worth worrying 1 minute about.
Yeah.
But we are always bending our head, it's like, okay, their life this. No, I think at one point there are certain things we just have to ignore and let go and just live the life, because time is too short. Life is too short.
We are all on transit.
Yeah. Or maybe it's like other people will say, well, on borrowed time. Well,
very good. Yeah.
Baba, you've shared stories and how you got support from people in the Dutch football community, including Louis van Gaal. In moments like that, did football show you its human side?
It's really, really unbelievable, because I never expected that I will get such crowd or such concern back in Holland. Because if you see, I stopped playing football exactly 21 years ago, so long it is. I've been away from Holland for over 10 years. Generation has come over us. And I was thinking only few of my friends can be able to know. But when I entered Holland, it's unbelievable that the story has gone everywhere. All the younger ones are already checking on the internet and seeing who you are, and pictures and video are there, and it's unbelievable, really. And when I start getting the support of my wife, I was so happy and so proud that someone has to do very well, at least for these people to even see you or to do anything with you. Or is it because you are very friendly with them? Many people tell me, Baba, because you always laugh with us. When we come to you, you don't push us away. You are a good human, they said, apart from the football world.
Yeah.
That you are also a good human, that you always laugh, you do this to us. And then you find out that people that you never knew, people that were not born when you are even playing, all come up together. So that's why you see, I cannot say thanks enough, cannot be enough for the Dutch people here. What they do in the football world in the Netherlands.
I just think it's good to be good, Baba.
Yes, No matter what you do, you have to go to people because you never know when the goodness will come back to you.
Yeah, but
you never know.
It's just good to be good because I think that there are so many times whereby we've been stabbed in the back. There's so many times whereby you feel that as if somebody, they did not pay back. But I think we should all just live our life to please our Creator, our God, because then when things happen to us, He will send us the help. Because at the moment now, you are saying the Dutch, you are saying some Nigerians, and but I think what really happened was that I think God sent the right people to you. Maybe
everything is God.
Because inside you, He appreciates maybe how you are inside, but that's between you and Him to discuss, So I think that's why I still believe it's
that's
good.
Why I said that's why I said destiny. Destiny comes from God. When you have destiny, then you still believe in your God, and with that, you have only God to be thankful, because He's the one who make all these things happen.
He made us,
and you take your destiny as well. That's it.
Let's get into literature. Yes, it is. Let's get into literature now. I know our listeners and those who are watching us right now will be wondering what's going on. I thought we're talking football here, but then again, you both have moved from being ex-players and evolved into literature, right? You are both sharing your stories through your books now. And I'll start with Sunday first. Your book, Audacity to Refuse, I have a copy. I have to be able to brag about that, signed by the legend himself. And I've had a few time reading it. He's also rated 4.5 out of 5 on Amazon. And for viewers worldwide, what exactly are you having the audacity to refuse, and how can they buy it?
Well, if I look at my own personal life, everything I've been able to achieve is because I've said no to somebody telling me to do something like this. For example, I can even start from my family. Nobody wanted me to play football. In fact, we were punished for playing football, but I refused. And football now is, without football, what will I be now? So that's what we're grateful for. Life itself is that we are never the same. God has different plans for us. He gives us different qualities. And I think for that reason, it comes out like when you are trying to find your own way, people who don't know what you are fighting to do or what God has put in front for you, they will try to stop you from doing it. I think as a human being, you have to have the audacity to say no, audacity to refuse being allowed to go forward. The whole of my lifeline has always been like that. Everything that I've had success doing, at the initial stage, I had people trying to ask me not to do it. And I've always had the audacity to refuse it. So, and that's what made the difference. That's why it's called Audacity. The book itself, initially, I didn't want to even sell it physically. Wanted to sell it online. So the book, you can get it on Amazon. And at one point, we were selling it in Nigeria, but we had to stop because of a lot of the books that were being sold or were being shipped. We're not reaching the people who ordered them, except for those who were around Lagos. So. And I'm getting a lot of demands now online, so to buy it physically in Lagos. So I might arrange with somebody to start maybe selling it. But we don't have too many copies left, but we'll try to sell the ones that are left. So.
Baba, your book must have been a challenge to write, especially given the recent trials. What are you sharing with the world in those pages, and where can we get it?
Well, for now, it's in Dutch because we are going to do the English version this year. The book was named Between the Sun and the Shadow. That is the good and the bad time. In that book, you can be able to see my childhood. Like what Oliseh said, without football, what can I be right now? When my parents wanted me to go to school, and I did whatever I can. When I want to go to the university, I sorry, in the book, lied to my dad that I have a university already in Mina. While of course I went into sign for a football team there to play, but they promised to give me school. Then from there my career started until when I become who I am, and the glory, of course, the Olympics, the Nation Cup we play, the failure of the Nation Cup, open stories, what happened between us. Oliseh already knew about them. I saw some of the stories also, most of the stories in his books as well. That is it. And the ups and downs in a football player. Of course, you went to this team, another coach come, you are not doing well, you have to leave that team. Then if you leave that team or you are not playing next season, and then boom, they will hear your name again. How did you fight all those challenges in you? So it's for you to give the younger players also a good account of yourself, how they can do if they find themselves in this kind of a problem. And also at that time, the younger players that come to Europe without nobody, you can be able to be famous and get a lot of money, and then you can lose your way. In the book, I have tried to explain to the younger players how they can be able to be humble, to be themselves, and invest for the money that they already get.
Yeah.
And not to leave at the end of the day after football their problem and issue. It will come in English very soon. It's very nice,
All right.
nice
All right.
book, and
We
it's
can't
a
wait
very
for it.
good, yes, very good sell in Holland.
To wrap it up on the literature part, writing a book, we know it's like coaching. You have to organize chaos, ideas, and so many things. Was the process of writing Audacity to Refuse a form of therapy for you, for the sabotage you faced at Fortuna Sittard?
Well, to a large extent, writing the book itself was that I just wanted to share my story. My hope was that someone will learn from it. In all honesty, everything that has happened to me that maybe might look as bad, those are the things that have really that make me happy now. Because if you look at the, like you make a reference to the Fortuna Sittard something, some might say, okay, you was unhappy, but for me, it's not really a problem. Every coach in the world gets sacked, so it's the only part of it that I wasn't happy about was that when they gang up against you and they refuse to pay you what you're owed, that's the bad part. And that's the unfaithful part. You can sack a coach, but when you refuse to pay him and he's a coach that made you great, so, and that's the bad part. But talking about it being a therapy, I think it was just, I think you're right, because to a large extent, it was good to share my experiences. Yeah. Like Baba said, how we navigated all through the Nations Cup, the World Cup, the struggles and the brotherhood that I shared with Baba and people like Benny McCarthy and Dean Gore at Ajax, and the struggles. So that's just the idea.
So let's talk about the global fire that has been burning for weeks now. And we'll start with the first leg of the Champions League playoffs that happened between Real Madrid and Benfica, although the first leg was at the Estadio da Luz at the Benfica home. And after we saw what happened in the 50th or 52nd or 53rd minute, where Vinícius Júnior scored a goal, danced, was given a yellow card for showing the number and the name of his on the back of his jersey, and then it went crazy on from there. It was a crazy scene in football, something we don't always hope to see all the time in football. Jose Mourinho defended the atmosphere by using Eusebio as a shield, stating that because Benfica's greatest legend was black, the club cannot be racist, which was a controversial statement and caused a lot of uproar. Now to Sunday, many legends have spoken out, even managers to have had to talk about what happened. But I noticed once again, you just kept your cool and didn't bother yourself getting into the whole fracas. Now we're silent, and somehow, when Mourinho says something happens always where Vinícius plays, is this the ultimate sabotage of a player's dignity?
Well, I didn't want to say anything because a lot was being said already. And on the other hand, also, I was waiting to see what the authorities would do. So I just wanted to see what the authorities would do. Because I think, look, I really enjoyed watching Jose Mourinho. And I have a lot of respect for Jose Mourinho because of what he's managed a lot of African players. And he's shown so much empathy towards African players. But that notwithstanding, I must say that when I heard the comment he made, I just had to sit down. Because, you see, nobody knows how painful it is to suffer racism except for the man who's suffering it. It is the one who's suffering racism that feels most of the pain. And that is the most painful part. And for somebody like him to make that statement, you cannot say that because somebody is a black man played in your club almost 50 years ago, that's why your club cannot be. So in other words, because Eusebio played in Portugal, then there is not one racist in Portugal, because the whole Portuguese people then are all perfect, because he came and he washed all their sins away. Whereas that is something we know that only Jesus can do. So it's if you look at it from that point of view, I think I was extremely disappointed, and I am extremely disappointed. But I'm waiting to see I'm still waiting to see what the authorities will do. Because when a player takes his jersey to close his mouth to say something, he was not just calling him an idiot. You don't need that to do that. So he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing when he did that. And I think if you go on the street, this is what amazes me about all this racism issue. If you go on the street in the Western world and you say to a guy or a woman in front of people and you say you're ugly, you don't look good, you smell and you're that kind of thing. The Western rules says that you can be sentenced to imprisonment for that because of you're verbally abusing the person. Yeah. Now, how can you abuse somebody racially and you are not sent to jail? Because nothing is more degrading. Some people have committed suicide because of racial abuse. Yeah. So I think until they make this, I think they start sentencing people, this will never stop.
Baba, does the Sobio defense make you angry or just sad for the future of the sport?
Very sad, because normally if such a racism comment is coming, it comes from the supporters, not from players.
Yes.
If it's a supporters, then that one is different, because sometimes they had to do this kind of a racism comment to make a player lose concentration, to shout for a player not to, if the player is not strong-minded, he cannot concentrate on his game. But for a football player now, to call his colleague or just an opponent, close your mouth and call him a monkey or something like that, I believe that, of course, Mourinho have to always cover his player, but he knows it's wrong what the player did. But to me, it's not even waiting for FIFA. I'm waiting for the club first to sanction this player. If they find him, they can suspend him. When you suspend such a player from a club, then the whole world will know you really mean it. But not to come out and start saying, no, he's not, and then the next week you feature him again. No, with such a player, you have to do something so that you can be able to stop it to happen again, not only to him, to other players playing in other clubs in other countries. No matter what happened, we as players, no matter how good a player, because you cannot call any player a racist as a black, except if he's a very good player. You will do that just to bring him down. You do that mentally to break him. So if you do that, I think the best thing is the club first to do anything before even FIFA come out with this.
For the both of you, you know the talent that Vinícius Júnior packs and how instrumental he has been for Real Madrid. And then we've also seen him cry in press conferences, being taunted every week by rival supporters, opponents, and all that. If you were his general in that locker room, if he had both of you in that locker room today, what is the first thing you would tell him to protect his mind?
Well, if it's me, I'm going to say something about it. Junior is kind of a player. He's a different kind of a player. That's how he is with emotion. You can see he can talk always in anything he talks. I'm sure that in Real Madrid, I'm sure they are talking to him about this kind of an attitude of him. But it's very difficult, because it's a situation when you are doing in football, if it's in you, you just do it. But in this situation, I think that it's very difficult, but the coaches can be able to talk to him about it.
I personally feel like the biggest mistake, in fact, it's the greatest mistake you can make as a colored man that has been abused racially, is to cry in public. You just gave the racists what they wanted. They feel they've broken you. And I think for that one, that's where I think Vinícius totally erred. On the other hand, what I think Vinícius should do is show personality. Sometimes you have to ignore you have to learn to ignore things. I know it's not easy, but with all due respect, if you see the kind of racism we endured in the 90s, the kind of racism that people endured before us in the 80s, they were so horrible, but the players didn't cry. They didn't cry. They fought through it, and most of them today have made a great life out of it. That is no excuse for the racism he's experiencing. But I think if I was his teammate, I would take him and push him to the wall and say, what the hell is wrong with you? Ignore them, keep scoring. Make your points, stand by your points, but don't just start crying. That crying aspect is what I'm against. And nobody can judge him for being, we are all different. The way he's suffering is not the way I am suffering it. The way I can handle it is not the way he can handle it. So I think he has to handle it in his own way. But that crying aspect is what I think he shouldn't do, because you're just giving them what they want. Don't cry. Don't cry.
Still with you, Sunday. You've mentioned how you've been waiting for the right time for the organizers, FIFA, UEFA, to come out to see what they would do, the action they would take concerning what's on ground. And while I also believe that I'm not too pleased with them, because most of the time they're more reactive than proactive, right? Is the problem that football institutions are built on the same administrative sabotage you faced, making it impossible for them to truly fight racism?
Well, Baba made some statements earlier on. Baba said, for example, he decided not to go into coaching because he knew that it was a lost cause. Because as a colored man, you never get a job to coach in Europe. Yeah. Because his aim is to go to the highest and coach in Europe. Now, they had this problem in the United States. And then to make sure that minorities got equal chances, they created a Rooney law. That means that before you employ any coach, you must also interview a colored man. And that's why the NFL, that's the American football, is filled with black coaches, basketball black coaches. That was proposed also to be put in European football. Some top personalities refused it. If you check the name, you will be shocked. That tells you a lot. That already says that. But I think that the solution is that it is not a question of the authorities not doing right or doing wrong. I think it is just simple. The state itself has to criminalize racism. You criminalize it, make it criminal, give sentences. Make it people serve jail sentence. Look, anybody who's never got into a jail, a cell, will never understand how difficult it is for you, how painful and how mentally damaging it is for your freedom to be taken away from you. Yeah. For you to need to ask somebody, please, can I go and pee? Can I go to the toilet? Every time. All those freedom, if you take that away from people for like a whole month or 2 months because he said something racial, or maybe a year, when he comes out, he will not be racial anymore. Because the deterrent is not strong enough. That is why it is still there.
Well, like Sunday just said now, you see, what I would say is racism. Oliseh. I have 1994, 95. In the same stadium of Benfica, I was chanted, the supporters of Benfica, which I look around and find out there are black players there as well. And it was, yes, and they have also black players.
Oh my
but
God.
I was chanted, the only player in Portugal at that time, we came with Roda to play European Cup, 1994-95 season, UEFA Cup. We lost the game 1-0, I believe. And it happens. And in other places, but now you can see that the football that is happening now is less. If you look at the 90s, that is where sometimes you come and play in the pitch, they even throw banana to you. So bad it is.
I got that so many times.
Yes,
and also
they throw banana to you. Yes,
like
that they did. Yes, they
all
did
the time.
It. But
like an ape,
yes,
you know?
and that's why you see also in Europe, if all these FIFA are doing, they have to come and do the right thing also. Do you see many black referees or linesmen in the world? You can't see them. Why? Because if you bring a black referee, they will chant him monkey. So you hardly in a country, maybe in England, I don't know, 1 or 2, but in the Dutch, I don't see one black referee. In Portugal, in anywhere you go, it's also the same. So if they will come out and address this racism of a thing, they should come out and do it. Whatever they do to supporters, if they just suspend them 1 or 2 matches, that's all.
Yeah.
Then they come back again, they find the next black player, they abuse him. They did that to Eto sometimes. He even run out of the pitch.
Yeah.
Why? Because they know he's the best player, he can hurt them. And then they will come and chant all these as a monkey. And you find that the club cannot take. I think all this thing has to be given to the clubs. The club should take responsibility of all these things that happens, not to always wait and see what FIFA can do. Okay, now what happened with this Benfica of a team? Why the club didn't do anything? Only now Mourinho coming out and defending the player because he's a coach. As a coach, you have to defend your players in any way, even though you will go back to the dressing room and fight and hit him. But when you come out, you tell him, no, he's this, even in Zobio play, What are you talking, Isofio playing? Okay, me, I'm at Isobio. They charge me monkey when I play there, 1994. And now, from 94 to now, how many years is this?
Yeah.
More than 23, 25 years. And you are still chanting a monkey to a top player like Vinícius. This is something else.
Yeah. It is
Very
sad.
pity.
It is sad, and there's no place for that in football. It's supposed to be inclusive. It's supposed to be for everybody to come enjoy the game itself. It's I don't even know how to contain my emotions. It's been a wonderful, wonderful time, and having you, Tijani Babangida, it's been very emotional for me. Emotional roller coaster from the beginning. I started with excitement having you on the podcast. You sharing the stories, I was laughing and I was wowed. And then, of course, we spoke about your survival, and also till now, it's been a fantastic time having you here. The General himself, do you have anything you would like to, say to end the show?
Baba, as a friend, we shared difficulties. We went to the arena with the ambition to be the best of ourselves. And I'm blessed to have had you as a teammate, as a friend, and now as a brother. But the success we had there propelled us to greater heights. We did not only just succeed there, we succeeded also serving our country. Life has thrown us things that some people will not survive. What you went through, most people commit suicide afterwards, but you've come out of it well. We are both still grieving in our own way, but at the same time also, we are grateful to God that we have been able to come this far.
Yeah.
And to Jose Mourinho, hiding behind a studio is a disgrace as an excuse for racism. You are a bigger manager than that. You are loved in Africa, and we'll love you to correct that error. To our viewers, we are more than grateful for the support you've given us. I know this is an emotional episode, but at the same time also, we are blessed to have you as viewers and people who support this channel. I'll forever be grateful for what God has blessed us with to have. And on behalf of my lovely and intelligent and competent co-host, Toyosi, I call her Toyosi. I know we all call her Motoyosi Adebanjo. I would like to say a goodbye, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.